as you probably heard, sinking that oil rig seems to set up a firestorm.
Figured it would. It's gonna get really hard for Solana now when the big guns are rolling in.
Oh, good point. The Allied nations moved in once it was obvious Universal Petroleum couldn't keep the oil flowing. They're spending a lot of money on democratic propaganda, but all the military assets are going into oil.
Yeah, that's not gonna make China very happy.
No, it doesn't. China was funding the guerrillas, hoping the PLAV would seize power and sell the oil to China. And that didn't work,
They thought it was time to join the party.
which means everyone who ever manufactured earth-penetrating weapons is here. And they're both looking for mercs to cut through the red tape and get stuff done unofficially. Go to one, either, both, I have no preference.
Hey guys, welcome back to another Mercenaries 2 video, and today I'm going to talk about the Allied nations and China. And today I'm going to be talking about which one you should choose, and it actually all depends on which, what play style you are. Actually, that's mostly what it's based on. But also, if you're like an American or something, and maybe you want to go with the Allied nations since they're American, and if you live in China, maybe you want to go with China, and but today I'm going to be talking about the strengths and the weaknesses of both the factions. And first, let's start off with the Allied nations. So the Allied nations are good at two things, and that is vehicles and airstrikes. They have the best airstrikes, and they're more modern compared to China, and their vehicles have better armor and better weapons, and that's the biggest advantage of the Allies. I showed you their helicopter in the last one, and now let's talk about China. Now China, they have pretty basic airstrikes, and they only have artillery. I think rocket artillery is probably their most used airstrike, and their vehicles are more lightly armored, and their tanks and stuff aren't as good as the Allies. But their biggest advantage is their numbers compared to Allies. Like, they have a lot more soldiers compared to the Allies. They have more tanks. They have 3 types of tanks, while the Allies have 1. And they're just much better in numbers. They have way bigger army compared to the Allies. But this changes once you get to the 3rd mission. That for the Allies, once you get to the 3rd mission, their army gets bigger, and they have more people in the army compared to the beginning. And I'll show you this when I'm driving around Caracas, how big the army is right now. It's pretty small. But I don't even know why I said big. It's pretty small, you know what I mean. And see, we have 1 car so far. And that's about it. Just a couple of cars right now. I see 3. Okay, I see 2 up there. And we're about to drive over to their base. See what they look like. I'm not going to drive to China's base. Or actually, you know what? I think I am. Yeah, I'm going to drive over to China's base too. Or actually, I'm going to call it a chopper.
The capital city of Venezuela, once a bustling hub of commerce and culture.
So as you can see, the city's pretty empty of the Allies. And the main vehicle you see driving around is the Humvee. That's probably the most common one you'll see. And the APC, that one right there, you see that one a lot too. And let's go check out their base.
Getting close to the Allied Forces headquarters. It's that large collection of tents next to the river.
Now, the Allies, their base is pretty strong. I like it. It's probably one of my favorite of all the bases. And actually, this is the faction I prefer because I prefer vehicles over large armies. But every once in a while, I'll play for China. Now, let's call in a chopper and we'll go over and fly over to China and you'll see how many vehicles they have all over the place. Their tanks are a lot more common too. Like a lot. You'll see them like as much as you see Humvees. Now, as you can see, this is probably one of my favorite vehicles in the game. I also showed that off in the vehicle review, if I haven't already released that already. I'm pretty sure I did, because that's going to be one of the first videos I release. And, yeah. So, I'm gonna talk about, Mercenaries, what's wrong with it. There's been problems, while we're, flying over the Chinese base. And there's been this like problem with the servers where sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You know, sometimes it'll sign in and you'll get to play online, and then sometimes it just won't sign you in. It says EA servers are down, they're not up, and yeah, that's about it. And if I were you, I would just play co-op as much as possible before the servers go out, because in my opinion, I think the servers are pretty close to going in. And you probably won't be able to play co-op anymore. So I play as much as possible before it goes out. And, alright, let's get back to the Chinese base. And, as you can see, there is jeeps everywhere. Jeeps, people, tanks. You'll see the tanks soon. See, there's one right there. Oh, it just disappeared. See, APCs. All kinds of vehicles everywhere. See, there's tanks. See, there's like 3 over there. Just over there. Definitely love the numbers. Their army. It's huge. And this is actually not their HQ, this is like just one of their outposts. And there is a building filled with tanks, vehicles everywhere for the taking. Actually, let me just pick up the spare part. Just for safety. Oh shit, wrong seat. Now I'm going to show you their main base. It's pretty close. As you know, the outposts are usually pretty close to their HQ. More tanks. This army loves tanks, obviously. This is their HQ right here. Obviously not as good as the outpost, but they have a giant castle. That's their main HQ, and then they have tons of AA guarding it, and a ton of vehicles for taking. And so, if I were to give a rating between the two factions, I would give the Allies about a probably about an 8.5 out of 10, because the numbers are pretty low until the last mission. And then for the Chinese, I would give them about 7, maybe 7.5. No, you know what? Allies 8.5, China 8. That's just my personal opinion, though. It really does depend on your play style. Like if you like numbers, go with China. If you like good vehicles, good airstrikes, go with allies. And so it all comes down to that. It's just my personal opinion. I go with allies, and because I'm American, you know, that's also a big part in it. You know, if I was if I lived in China, I'd probably go with China almost every time. So it's kind of biased with your nation too. And since I'm pretty sure most of my subscribers are in America, I'm pretty sure most of them pick the allies. But China's definitely a good option too. And now I'm just rambling, so I'm gonna end the video, and I'll give you I'll see you next time with the Mercs 2 freeze fix for free. Alright, see you next time.